So welcome to the first Ikigai Beta Mastermind today. And we can go to the next slide. You'll see a short video. Are you struggling to find your purpose? Feel like there's something more meaningful for you, but just not sure what to do? Well, today I'm going to give you guidance on how you can find your true purpose in life. Hi, I'm Lori Tsugawa Whaley, your samurai strategist, bringing you the spirit of the samurai warrior of ancient Japan. In 2007, after being in a car accident that left me reading at a 7th grade level, I too felt like I was lost. I started searching everywhere for the meaning of my life. The thing is, when people try to discover their purpose and they look for answers outside themselves, they end up feeling empty, frustrated, or wind up broke. They think they can't ever achieve their true purpose because the truth is, the answer isn't out there. You must look inward. You can't fulfill your human potential if you don't accept your humanness. I discovered the answer to finding purpose in my heritage, the way of the samurai, and it's extremely powerful for all people who embrace it, regardless of their heritage. The way to find your purpose is through Ikigai, a philosophy practiced for centuries from Okinawa, Japan. It includes all 4 key pillars and sacrifices none, meaning that your purpose is something you love, that you're good at, what the world needs, and that you can get paid for. Growing up after World War II and enduring bullying and racial prejudice, I had rejected my heritage. It was not okay to be who I was. But after my car accident, suffering chronic pain and a traumatic brain injury, I was determined not to let my situation define me. I found strength in who I was deep inside me, and I endured over 1,000 appointments to regain wellness. I discovered that my rich heritage offered solutions for life. I published my book, Let the Samurai Be Your Guide, and I knew that the DNA of the samurai warrior was in me. I discovered my Ikigai to share the principles of the samurai warrior for modern day life. As Dr. Maya Angelou said, my mother was really telling me to go ahead, love life, to engage in it, give it all you've got, to love it with a passion. If you would love to find your purpose in life, something you love, that the world needs, that you can get paid for, let's talk. Click the link to sign up for a complimentary session where you and I will explore how to start your journey to find your Ikigai. When you link arms with this samurai woman, you'll never face your battles alone. And I just would like to mention that we have the talented Andy Bennett that's going to be taking notes, and you may want to connect with him. It's too techie for me.
It's a great intro, by the way, Lori. Loved it.
Pardon?
I'm super excited.
Oh, I'm so excited. It's like a kid going to the candy shop, but not just any candy. It's got to be dark chocolate. I'm so happy and thankful that you're all here today, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, every one of you. So we'll start off. Some of you may or may not know much about me, but believe it or not, I'm a farmer's daughter. Now, do I look like the farmer's daughter? Hopefully I don't act like one, like I was born in the farm, but I knew that was not my life. When I would work hard and be in the field, and my sisters loved chasing each other around the field, around the farm with pickups and motorcycles and playing in the mud and getting wet and dirty, that just was not for me. They called me the princess. And so this is a picture taken of me when I was about 5, I think. And our Japanese friend, who was a merchant marine, took our family photo to Japan, and he brought back 4 plates like that. And it came with 2 matches, which we don't have. We found one when we were going through our dad's old things, but that I still have that. And my mom is she was a visionary, and she goes, George, let's go make some of those. Let's go get it. Let's go take pictures and go to Japan. She also wanted to buy a McDonald's, and she wanted to buy houses up in Seattle when Seattle went down. But anyway, she was amazing. And so I grew up in the 60s, not a great time, as I mentioned, to be Japanese because I was teased and bullied, especially living in a very rural area. And there were no other Japanese people except my cousins. And so I thought, I don't like this and I don't want to be me. I want to look like somebody else. But no matter what I did, I couldn't change it. So I grew up and kept going and through school and high school and high achiever. I was a cheerleader and got on the honor roll and all that. Then I went to college and I had to have 2 years of a language. And I chose Japanese because my parents would talk to each other and that was their secret code. I figured out about 3 or 4 words like okane means money and takai means expensive and yasui, is cheap and just different words like that. Not more than 5. But when I started taking Japanese, I really started learning about it. But it's been a lifetime thing for me to learn Japanese because I didn't learn it growing up. And then after I finished college, actually in the meantime, on my last year I got married, I worked at the Tacoma Art Museum and I featured Sarah Little. You'll probably all remember that a few weeks ago in my posts and what I've been sharing and also in the master classes or the webinars we've been having. And she told me, she goes, Lori, you are more Japanese than you realize. I think you ought to go to Japan. And so that was a little seed that was planted in me. And I did. My husband and I didn't have children. So we go, oh, we're going to go. And we went for about 5 weeks and I loved it. It was just like, I felt so at home. That's all I know how to say it is that because I hadn't been around the Japanese community much and I go to Japan and everybody has black hair like me, but I was different than them. They could tell that I was different. I'm American, right? I'm not Japanese. So when we were there in October, I believe on 22nd, they have a parade called the Jidai Matsuri. And that's a processional not a parade, it's really a procession. And it's not like the big fanfares we have, 4th of July, with the cymbals and the drums and all that. It's very solemn, but it's very educational. And I saw this woman riding a horse and she was so strong and regal. She carried this long sword called naganata. And I didn't realize they were Japanese, or the females were warriors. I didn't realize that. So I thought, wow, she's so strong and regal. And when we were there, we met my father's cousins. So that would be the paternal side. And they gave us a copy of the family crest. And the reason that's important, well, you'll realize why it's important later, but I just wanted to share that I thought, oh, this is wonderful. And I didn't realize the importance until later. So fast forward after that, we started a family. And then in 2000, we had 2 sons and now we have 5 grandchildren. But when I was doing that, or we were empty nesters in 2005 and 2007, I was rear-ended twice. And especially after the second one, it was pretty bad. It wasn't that hard not that big of an impact, but it was enough to mess my head up, that coup, contra coup, the shaking of the head that happens to athletes and babies and people that fall off bikes. And something must have happened to me. So I was reading at a 7th grade level and I decided I can't live this way. And my husband was just about ready to retire at that time. And I thought, I don't want him carting me around the city, going to all these different appointments. So I worked my way back. I did not give up. I thought, I can't live like this. So I didn't. And that's, the rest of the story. After a long time, what happened was I started researching and I saw our family crest that looked like ours. And I said, that's our family crest. And I kept writing and writing, find out that the samurai lived by a code of ethics. It is known as Bushido. And that's what makes it so important, is that there are 3 stylized swords and 3 leaves that look like hearts. So this is of the samurai lineage. So I knew that DNA of the samurai was in me. And so when that book came out, I was so excited. And it was first published in 15, and then in 16 it went on Amazon. 17 it kept selling on Amazon and through my book talks. And then 18 I signed a contract with Tuttle, and I Okay, after that, let's see, I signed the contract with Tuttle, and so the rest is history. And right as a pandemic was coming down, March 2020, that's when my book was released. So there wasn't much of a fanfare then, but everything was done online. But at least it was published, and now I'm happy to say it's in Arabic and German. If any of you read that, you can purchase it in German or Arabic. So that is the oh, Fran didn't get to introduce. We'll do that later, Fran. So this is Let the Samurai Be Your Guide, and written by me and published in 2020. So we can go to the next slide. So this is the introduction to Ikigai. You want to say it Ikigai like ik? I don't know. What would be a hearty, elated? Discover your purpose and passions through reflection. And you can see the Japanese kanji. The first two is Ikigai, finding your pathway to life. They say it's discovered in Okinawa. I shared with you a little bit. I don't know if I asked you to thought it would be a good idea. You can print out the journal, but do any of you relate to this? I know I sure did. Empty, lack of meaning, thoughtless, worthless. I really felt worthless, useless, lack of purpose, no direction, because I was in so much pain and I couldn't read well, and I was a mess. I was a mess, but I did not want to stay in that situation. So I want to see a show of hands, or you can write in the chat. Have any of you felt any of these? Unclear, hopeless, useless, unproductive, pointless, lack of clarity. That was me, especially during that period of time when I was recovering from brain injury. That took a long time, long time. But I was determined not to give up. So we'll go to the next slide. So if you haven't already printed out your journal, you can do that. And then when you find your Ikigai, think of what your life is going to be like. You're going to have focus, success, peace, gratitude, purpose, mindful, inspiration, alive, passion. How many of you have that or want to feel that? Just put one in the chat if you do. If you'd like to feel that Ikigai. And that's what we're going to be discussing over the next, 4 weeks. Okay, great. We have a lot of, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for participating. So we can go to the next slide. So now we have an icebreaker. So each participant shares 2 true things about themselves and 1 dream or aspiration they have for the future. So I'll go first, and if we can make it real brief, not all of you have to say it, but you can just say, just raise your hand or chime in. I could say, I love to dance and find out about the Japanese culture, and I dream of spending more time in Japan. Does anyone else like to share? You don't all have to share, but you can if you'd like.
I think people are the most amazing thing that I've got the privilege of experiencing in my lifetime. And studying history, whether it be African history, Jewish history, Hebrew history, biblical history, has been the most fulfilling thing for me in my life. It woke me up, as a matter of fact, 17 years ago. And I would like to make a little money online. Gonna have to get to know Jay.
I'll take a few more if you'd like to share. But if you don't share, put it in your journal or your notes. Think about 2 things about you that are true and 1 aspiration you have for the future. Would anybody like to?
I love cooking Indian food and yummy food, and I love to teach people how to enjoy food and live healthy without the diabetes and stuff like that. So my dream is to coach people to reverse type 2 diabetes.
Awesome. We'll take a couple more if you'd like to share.
Yeah, this is John. I love really helping people understand things, explain to them. I spent some time teaching. I enjoy working with rescued beagles. That's one of my hobbies. And I dream of learning foreign languages one day.
Awesome. I think I saw Judy and then maybe one more after that.
Mine are just real personal. You guys have broader, embracing the world. I love to read. I love to, in fact, my license plate is LV2READ. So I love that. And I love to be outside doing yard work with blackberries, just doing heavy duty yard work. I would like to be more focused because I just get sidetracked and the painting will stay there for 3 weeks and I walk by it every day thinking I've got to get back to that. So that's what's going on here.
That's wonderful. Could we have one more? You can raise your hand if you want. Okay, Elena?
Yeah. Okay. I have a very rich and wonderful life and filled with a lot of passion and joy. I am looking for a new direction, though, to step into something new that kind of integrates where I am and where I want to go. And I don't know what that is yet, but a way to contribute to the world and maybe be some kind of peacemaker and create harmony and passion. And I also want to play more.
Great. Who else would raise your hand if you'd like to join or put the hands up? One more if you want to share. Oh, Andy.
I'll go.
Yay.
Let's see. 2 things that are true about me. I am beyond blessed. I've got a beautiful wife and 2 amazing boys that are super talented, and I just love spending time with them and bragging on them. Super fun. I am passionate about education and improving education. And one dream that I have would be to take the company that I have right now, that I've owned for about 3 years now, to the next level where I can just impact more people with the solutions we have, and also bring more people upon my team to just bless their lives. So that would be a big dream of mine.
I'm going to encourage you when people share to share some love. So we'll go on to the next one. There'll be other times to share. And Nell did that slide. Isn't that awesome? Okay, next slide, please. Oh, Ikigai. Ikigai is important, and it's the concept that translated into your reason for being. The French say raison d'etre, and encourages individuals to find their, there you go, thanks, Sandy, to find your purpose in life. And everybody's searching for meaning, and a good book that I would recommend is Viktor Frankl's book called Man's Search for Meaning, and it's sold over 10 million copies and is translated into multiple languages, but you will find out why he survived the Holocaust and others didn't, because of he had a reason. And your why, I can't stress that enough. The why is so important in finding your Ikigai. And you'll have that in your workbook, and you'll also have it in the ebook, what you love, what the world needs, what you're good at, and what you can be paid for. So when you get those all merging into one, it'll be your Ikigai. So I'm so excited about this because, we all have Ikigais, but they can be fine-tuned. They can be adjusted. They can go a different direction, which is fine, because when you're a mom, your Ikigai is different than when you're a grandmother, right? Or being retired like in your 80s, it's different than when you were in your 20s. So it's okay that it changes, but it kind of follows the same path. It's from Okinawa, Japan, and that's one of the islands of Japan from 785 or 784. It combines Iki, E like eternal, Ikigai, and it's not Ikigai. I joke about that. I said, sometimes I'm looking for the Ikigai out there and I don't see him. Is it you, Andy? No. So what is your Ikigai? And when do you use it? Is when you feel lost. When you think that maybe something's missing, something more, and you don't feel happy with your life, that's a good indication that you need to tweak it, you need to rediscover it, or just find a new Ikigai. And it's also a good thing to do when you're making a decision. You have to, every day you have to think, well, should I do this? Or you think, oh, no, this isn't following my Ikigai. If you get asked to be a volunteer at such and such place, but it's really not what your Ikigai is, then you really maybe pass up something where it's more aligned with what is your passion. Because it's so easy to get, sucked in, or whatever you called it, kind of wrangled, or even browbeating. People will say, oh, well, you should really do this, and it's for your kids and all this. And you can say, well, no, not now. I think somebody else would be better, especially if someone needs a committee to be filled and they need a secretary, or they need somebody that can do emails or something like that. I go, you're not going to want me. And I would happily decline that, because I said, you want it to be accurate and somebody that likes that kind of stuff. And unfortunately I don't. Well, I have other things that I'd rather do. Let's just put it that way. So take your time. This is not a marathon. I mean, this is not something that's like a sprint. It's not a sprint at all. And when you do find your Ikigai, I'll talk about that a little bit more. It's like I shared it earlier about a man who he thought his Ikigai was to have a restaurant. And once that restaurant opened, he committed suicide because he thought, is that all there is? That's what I'm thinking that he thought. There's nothing more. But why do you want the restaurant? Do you want the restaurant to serve healthy food? Do you want the restaurant to make an impact on the world? Do you want the restaurant so you can help cater other events? So then it can expand it a little more, because your why is so important. And it's what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. And think about when you were growing up, what did you want to do? What was something that you were drawn to? I was not drawn to working outside or getting dirty at all. I knew that wasn't my life. And so at a very young age, I was like, Yayoi Kusama, she goes, oh, this isn't me. And I knew that wasn't me either. And just going in a different direction than working on a farm. But I learned a lot from working on the farm, because it taught me how to work hard, never give up. So this is another slide. What you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, what you're good at. And those combined with passion, mission, profession, and vocation. And that's your Ikigai. And I encourage you to print out the workbook, and you'll see the pages, and you can start working on your own Ikigai. So if you can go to the next slide. Oh, good. We have another icebreaker. Each participant, and we have enough time for each person to do this, completes the sentence. If I had no limitations, I would. If I had no limitations, like I travel the world and actually learn about Asian cultures, because that's what I'm really passionate about. And also, I'll just share this with you. I've heard that the Ritz-Carlton is going to have a cruise in Japan, 2 of them 26. And that's one of my aspirations, because I can't think of anything nicer to teach and share about the Japanese culture and be paid for it, and it would just be wonderful. And I wouldn't have to go across the ocean, because that takes about 3 days. I fly into Tokyo and fly out of Tokyo. So I'm really excited about that possibility. So that's one of my high goals that I have right now. So if you don't mind, we can just go around the room and around the circle. Or if you want to raise your hand, does everybody have something that they thought of?
I would like to travel. I would like to see as much of the world as possible.
Wonderful. Who's next?
I would like to help support regenerative farming that brings the nutrition back to the ground, and also the carbon back to the ground. It's done by not tilling the land and moving the cows around, and either way, it brings the nutrition back to the earth, changes dirt back into soil. that's what I would like to do.
I also would like to travel all over the world as if there is no limit. Love to travel and also like to teach people how to eat for healthy food for nutrition, not like a bunch of rice and potatoes and corn, just nutritious food so that they don't need not to eat a lot of food. As Asians, we all eat a lot of rice, but we don't need that much food in our system. So that's one of my dreams, to travel and teach people how to eat better for their health and for well-being.
Awesome. Who would like to go next?
I'll go next. Sandra. If I had no limitations, I would travel the world. My specification is all of the continents. I would like to travel. In fact, to share something more, my name is Sandra Elaine Hyatt, and one of my aspirations, I want to travel to a place that has the letter of my name. Like Sandra, I haven't been to Sweden as yet, and that's one of my aspirations. And I like what I heard you saying, and yeah, that will be my goal to 2026. That cruise to Japan. There's no J in my name, but that would be a bonus.
Anyone else?
I'll go next. This is Fran. Oh, can you hear me? Did I cut somebody
Yes.
off?
We can hear you.
Okay. I don't want to travel. What I would like to do is have several acres on a lake with a dock and give retreats and have as many dogs and horses as I wanted.
Yeah.
Thank you, Fran. Judy?
Okay, well, too many things come to mind. I would want to travel to see a couple friends, one in Ann Arbor, one in Japan. And then I want to remodel my house. And then I would like to, this is where the magic comes in, because you guys are really helping me think about this. I would like to have like a school just for kids and parents or caregivers, and it's all about simple art things that they do together. And I've collected so many notebooks on things to do together with art, and they just sit there. I've had them for decades, and that's what I would like to do.
Well, awesome. A couple sessions from now, we're going to well, actually Monday the 20, whatever that is, right before Thanksgiving, I'm going to up to the center and I'm going to be talking with Paula, and her book, well, not her book, but the Let Us Get in Trouble. And I've asked that people purchase it. All of you will see why, because that was her passion, was asking why and being creative. And look at her now, and look what she did in her life. So thank you so much. And Elizabeth.
I would like to have a couple things. I'd love to have an old house, like my grandma's house, with a smelly basement and just big windows. And it's just a place to rest. And then professionally, I would love to open a natural health clinic with all kinds of healing modalities, all the latest in frequency medicine, and just absorb that and get lots of different certifications so I can help people.
Anyone else?
Hi.
Did you want
This is Alana. If I
Okay.
hadn't, what's going through my mind is I have already traveled around the world. I speak lots of languages, and my whole life has been about learning different cultures. But what I need now is more technical knowledge on how to put together whatever I want, maybe my paintings or classes. I don't quite understand the new paradigm we're in and how to do things. So I need more technical information that comes to me in a way I can understand how to do.
Awesome. That's why I have an NO. Anybody else want to share? Did you want to share, Jay?
Yeah, sure. Um, if I had no limitations, I would love to travel with family and friends around the world. Love to learn interior design, something that's been on my mind for years, but I just haven't ever done it. I love to build tea houses and gardens and libraries around the world and have conversations, even though I'm a big introvert. I love one-on-one chats. I love meeting people now, especially after I try to stretch myself online. So I love meeting people around the world, learning languages and cultures, and just really like, I love hugs. So I just love to like
Oh,
hug people. So that's me.
and you're welcome to put effects on there when someone speaks. Give them love. Let's see. Did you want to share, Nell?
Yeah, so if I had no limitations, same as you, I would love to travel also with my family and yeah, basically enjoy life. That's it, Lori. Thank you.
Okay. And did you share, John?
No, I did not. Like a few other people, there's so many things I want to do. It's sort of hard to narrow it down. But probably first, I have actually traveled the world. My dad was in the Air Force and I started my career in the Army. So I've lived 14 different places during my life.
Wow.
But all four of my grandparents were immigrants, and I've never visited the communities where they grew up.
Yeah.
I really like to do that. Both of my grandfathers passed on while I was in grade school, and I never really knew either of my grandmothers. So I have no, people sometimes say, well, my grandfather bored me by talking about the old country. I have no sense for that whatsoever. And I'd really like to have that.
Oh, wonderful. Have we missed anybody? How about you, Jason?
Oh, I think we share the same thing, Lori. Just if I had no limitation, I love to travel the world. But more or less, if there's, the ability to even just, I love to volunteer at different levels. So I spent some time in rural parts of like Guatemala, just volunteering, that sorts. But yeah, again, just understanding and learning different cultures and languages would be something, a dream of mine.
Oh, let's give him some love. And Mark, have we heard from you, or would you like to speak? They're in the Philippines, so it's kind of hard sometimes. And Dale, would you like to share? Oh, that's right. Do you want, if it's dangerous, don't worry about it. But you're welcome to share.
Yeah, sorry, may not be the best right at the moment. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. We just have one more. Cedric, I don't know if we're going to be able to, if you're able to join. If you're not, we'll go into the blue zone. Okay, so now we will go into the blue zone, and that's around the equator. And now there are five, they say there are 5 communities in the world, but other people are saying there's 2 more. There are probably other little pockets around the world. We have Okinawa, Japan, and their philosophy is eat more vegetables, and there are more centenarians per capita in the world in Okinawa. Part of their eating habits are hachiharabu, means only eat until you're about 80% full. That means no Thanksgiving dinners every day. And they also live in communities. They help each other. I heard in Okinawa there was no public transportation, so you had to walk or use your bicycle, or maybe you have a friend that has a car. So that's Okinawa, Japan. And Loma Linda, California, that's right here in this country. Find faith and healthy living. In Icaria, Greece, be well-rounded. Nicoya, Costa Rica, have purpose and drink hard water. In Sardinia, Italy, is a different rhythm, exercise, and take no medication. So the next slides will be about found some images of places around the world where they do have this type of utopia. And it's all about community and how they live and live with each other, because if we were to be islands, there would have been a separate island for each one of us, and we wouldn't have the joy and sometimes frustration about learning about other people. But through sometimes adversities, you can find something that's positive. Just like with my brain injury, through adversity, I found my true Ikigai and the fortitude that I didn't really realize I had. So we'll go to the next slide. This is in Okinawa, Japan, where it's beautiful and it looks like paradise to me. So those are some images. And the next one. And you've probably seen this one before. I've shown this. These are little ladies from Okinawa, and probably, I'd say maybe springtime. Weather's pretty warm there, but there they are exercising, having a great time. And that's what they love to do. They love to be together, drink tea together, have meals together, help each other on projects. And that's how they live. In Okinawa, there are 31 little states or wards, and one person's in charge, and they go around to find out, does anybody need help? Can you imagine living in a place like that? They don't eat sugar, they eat sugar cane. And they eat 10%, half of the amount of sodium that they do on mainland Japan. So, the next slide. In Loma Linda, California, right here in the United States. And the reason that they believe is it's like a Seventh-day Adventist community. And it's a beautiful place to live, Southern California, right, Jason? But there are, beautiful climate, and you see people are having a great time together. And I think, like someone said about communication, there's different ways to communicate. And I've been a Toastmaster for over 15 years. And one of my speeches was the way you communicate. You can just say like, thank you, or you can say thanks, or thank you. There's so many ways that you could say thank you, or even I love you. You can say heartfelt, like I love you, or you go, I love you. Yeah, right. I love you. The way your attitude says so much. And so that's why communication is so important. They say, well, I said the right words. Well, what spirit did you send it in? How did you say that to whoever, if you needed to make amends or apologize, or even just basic communication and working out little rough spots. And that's what life's about. It makes us, it's like sandpaper. We get refined and we learn about ourselves through other people. And especially if you have children, you learn about yourself through your children. Okay, we can have the next slide. So what I'd like to do is maybe take about 5 minutes, and we'll leave this up. What activities bring you joy and make you lose track of time? Like you do it and you go, oh, wow, where did time go? What strengths do you naturally bring to the world? And what positive impact do you want to make yourself? And what type of work can you see yourself being rewarded for? So we'll just take about 5 minutes. We might go a little bit longer than 5. I hope that's okay with people, but so at 4:52, we'll come back. You can turn your screen off if you want, but I'd like you to think about doing this and put this in your journal if you have the journal, or you can print it out or just put it in a notebook and really start thinking about what brings you joy, what makes you lose track of time, what strengths do you bring to the world. And sometimes you could ask, if you're not sure, you can ask close friends or your family. What type of impact do you want to make? And what types of work can you see yourself being rewarded for? So let's just take about 5 minutes, and 4:52, we'll come back. Well, you're not going anywhere. We'll discuss some of these things, and we may not get to everybody, but this is something that you can just start working on your own Ikigai. So at 4:52, we will come back. one more minute. Okay, it's 4:52, and if you all like to just put down maybe share your most memorable question, and we can just start with why don't we start? Jeff, are you ready?
I am. Memorable question. Sharing with people actual history. I easily lose track of time when I do that.
Awesome.
Number two, what strength? I love people. I see what we are capable of and how amazing that is. I drive through cities and I marvel at the buildings we create, what we do, what we are capable of. It's always amazing to me. For me, it's just to encourage people to be okay with who they are, to look in the mirror and see their best friend. Speaking common sense to others that makes a difference in their lives. I think there's a need for that, and I think I should get paid to do it.
Great. And for sake of time, would you like to go, Sandra? Maybe one or two questions?
Oh,
that's okay.
sorry.
No,
Okay.
no. Don't be sorry. You're fine. You're great. I love some of your answers.
Thank you.
Do you want to share, Sandra?
I'll pass.
Oh, you'll pass. That's fine. How about you, Andy?
Yep, you bet. So I what I truly enjoy doing is just spending time with family and playing games and just doing that. That's obviously not something that I can do for a living. Would be really cool if it was. So then I kind of switched over to kind of work wise. I enjoy demonstrating new products, presenting, being in front of people, kind of talking about the solutions that I have. Strengths. I feel like I bring leadership, care, peacemaker. I'm a problem solver. Type positive impact. So if I could have my wish, kind of back to the original question, right? If I could improve education and create leaders in the world, that would make me a very, very happy person. And something that I feel like I could be rewarded for is consulting, training with people, and speaking on different subjects. So those are my answers.
That's awesome. Thank you, Andy.
You bet.
Do you want to go next, Fran?
Who, me? You want me to go? What activities bring me joy is being outdoors and walking. Knitting, I can lose track of time, or reading. The strengths that I naturally bring to the world is I'm a good listener, and I have a great sense of humor. What positive impact do I want to make? Part of my whole goal is to help women who have been abused or lived under violence, experience violence on any level, to come out of hiding and participate in life. And what types of work can I see myself being rewarded for? Probably coaching, mostly coaching and consulting.
Awesome. Thank you. Would you like to? Yeah. How about you, Jade? You have a couple that you'd like to share? See that you got your camera off. And Mark and Dale, did you want to pass? That's fine. Okay, how about you? Would you like to share, Sim? We'll just go over a few.
I like dancing, hiking, and volunteering to help with solutions. My goal is to help us live in harmony with each other and the earth. I am currently opening clean and sober houses. I have 2 of them, and I would like them to be running without much supervision from me and paying for themselves. So I'm able to do more.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, cool.
And you, Jesse, would you like to share?
Sure. Activities I enjoy, I love cooking, reading, hiking, and strengths I naturally bring is ability to cook and yummy food. And the positive impact I want to make is to teach people that reversing type 2 diabetes is possible. And I like to get rewarded for coaching people in that realm to reverse diabetes by eating better.
Okay. And let's see, would you like to share a few tips, Elena?
Yeah, I love painting, meditating, qigong, and sharing my feelings and thoughts. I'm very resourceful, and my mind goes click, 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 and I get great ideas that offer people possibilities that are meaningful and strong. I like to impact the world by filling it with beauty, particularly through my art, and which is the type of art that brings just quiet beauty and relaxation. And I could easily see myself teaching art, or selling my paintings through prints online. And I haven't done that.
Great. How about you, Elizabeth? Just maybe 1 or 2 that you'd like to share?
Well, I love painting. When I start painting, I do lose track of time. But also when I'm working with people with their health and coaching, the time just goes by and I can just go forever. Strengths, I'm a researcher and I like to be able to connect people to what I found. Impact people, build them up, and then reward. I just really like meeting with people one-on-one and then ministering to them both spiritually and physically, in concretely ways that they can bless their lives.
Awesome. How about you, Judy? Would you like to share maybe 1 or 2 that stuck out for you? Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
With painting and my experience teaching and organizational skills, I think I'd like to refresh, calm, embolden, and enlighten people inside.
Awesome. Do you want to share, Nell?
Yes. So I think the activities that brings me joy is just spending time outside, working in the nature, just cooking, and the strengths that not that I bring natural to the world is yes, I'm resourceful, and the positive impact I want to make is to help business owners. And type of work can you see yourself being rewarded for is I'm much more in the creative side, so I think just doing creative work.
Awesome. Was there anybody else that has not had an opportunity to share?
I wasn't able to speak as much before, but I can share quickly now.
Sure. We'd
A
love
couple
it.
of things that bring me joy. I love spending time with my kids and my larger family as well, but especially my kids. I love it. It doesn't happen often enough, but I really love getting lost in a good story. Just
Oh,
like almost all of a sudden, forgetting that the rest of the world exists and getting immersed into somebody's story, whether that's fiction or a person's real story as well. And a positive impact that I want to make, I would love it. It's kind of tied to one of the questions you asked before, but it'd be really cool if I could somehow fund and inspire artists and more art, more funding for art and more patronage of art all over the world, different kinds of art. But I think art's
Well,
super important.
awesome. Thank you so much. You know, it seems like there's a lot of creative people in this class, and there's not going to be a lot of heavy homework. It's going to be all done inside, and I don't even like to call it homework, reflection. And we'll put in the chat, and then also we're going to send out an email with the recording. And the reason I asked everyone to purchase this book, can you all see it? Let Us Get Into Trouble. Can everybody see it?
Yes.
Okay, so what we'll do is you can find it as little as $4 on used on Amazon, but we'll send the link to you. But I just want to tell you that this is all coming together because this was what she was. She asked questions all the time. And why about this? What about this? What about that? And she became a very well-known industrial designer. And part of the class is my intention is to have something for kids to find their Ikigai. There are some classes out there, but I love teaching things as close to the source. And the source is Japanese from Okinawa. So I'm going, actually, thank you, Andy. Thank you. I'm going on Friday, I'm going to the first ever Ikigai conference in Seattle. And I'm going of course, as a participant, but I've already reached out to some of the speakers and I knew one. So I'm really excited about Friday and talking and connecting and just get a clearer idea about Ikigai and Ikigai for kids. That was challenged to me. So in one of the webinars, he said, well, what about for kids? And I said, you're right. And then a couple of weeks ago, Paula came on the webinar and I told her I was going to share about Sarah Little, who was my first mentor. She had a profound, effect on me and everything that I do, the way I think. And she would just always teach me. I didn't realize I was pretty young at the time and didn't appreciate, and I think maybe just appreciate and realize what she did for me and brought me to my roots, because she says, you're more Japanese than you realize. And so I never thought that I was Japanese, because people would always tell me, you're Japanese? Are you sure? I go, yes. All 4 of my grandparents are from Japan. So I know that I'm Japanese, but I'm American. We speak a different language. Our face will change, our clothing, our mannerisms and everything. So I am American, but I am Japanese. Up here, I'm very Japanese. I think about it all the time. So this week, what I'd like you to do after we get the email to, Anel gets the email to you with the recording and maybe another connection to that book. And if you could purchase it, and you will enjoy it. As an adult, I loved it. We used to read it to our younger granddaughters, or a little bit past that, but I've just found so much joy when I read that book and just saw her personality and the way that she worked. And she was a force to be reckoned with. And one of her inventions was the N95 mask, and we will tell about that in the third week. I'll ask Paula when we're filming her a little bit, but it won't be live. I'm going to have it filmed and then edited and then present it probably on Tuesday. It might be a different time. We'll let you know. It's going to be fascinating. And what better gift to give the younger generation? We have to leave something for the next generation. We always want our kids to have a better world than when we came into the world. So that's one thing that we can do, is to help them find what they're meant to do. For instance, when I was growing up, everybody in my family, there's 6 of us, they all loved being outside, loved getting dirty, they loved it. And I just didn't like it at all. I didn't like playing sports. And, I was like the odd man out, but now I realize that I'm really not that odd. I'm just different. And different doesn't make, thank you, sweetie. Different doesn't mean worse. And just the same with my traumatic brain injury. It made me different. I'm not worse. I'm just different. And I think differently sometimes, but that's okay. Different doesn't mean bad. It just means different. So I would like you to think about, print out the workbook and start working on that. And you can do multiple pages. We will send that out in another email and remind you about the book. And that week of Thanksgiving, it will not be on Wednesday because that's too close to Thanksgiving. So we're doing a little differently. I'm so excited. I mean, you people don't know. I can't even say it. This is my Ikigai, to share just with as many people as I can about the Japanese culture, because that which I scorned, I now embrace. And I hated being Japanese, but now I love it. There's nothing more I want to do than to go to Japan. We're going to be there next month. And since COVID ended, I've been there twice a year, and I would like to go more. And just because I absolutely love it. And I'm so thankful for each one of you. So, and we're almost out of time. And let's see, are there any more slides, Nell? So that was me for my first book, Gambate Kudasai, never, never, ever give up. And that's in the Japanese gardens. I think we took that, or I had that picture taken. And this is my contact. I hope you can join. If you're on Facebook, join the Samurai community. And I'm on LinkedIn, so you will receive this recording afterwards. But I'm really thankful for each one of you. And is there another slide now? Is that it? Oh, you know what? Andy, could you take a picture of all this? Or can anybody take the picture?
Yep, I got it. Give me just a second.
Is that okay? If you don't want to be on this,
Yeah, turn your camera off.
turn your camera off.
I'll give you like a 1, 2, 3. Everybody kind of wave, and then I'll take a picture. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, cool. Got it. Okay.
Thank you.
You bet.
And thank you so much.
Lori,
I didn't realize it
question.
get Curie in this.
Lori, I have a question.
Yes.
What does is it a primrose? What is the flower part? The sword is the pointy thing. And what is the flower thing on your?
Oh, those are leaves.
Those are what?
leaves. I'll show this to you. Can you see it?
Yes.
I got this in Kyoto.
Oh.
And at the Nishiki market.
Okay.
And there was a man, and he was making these. 500 yen.
What flower is it?
It isn't a flower. Those are leaves from the katabami plant. It's sorrel.
Katabami plant.
That's Japanese, but it's for sorrel, S-O-R-R-E-L.
Okay.
And the leaves are the ones that look like the pointed swords.
Uh-huh, okay.
Yeah, and you'll see that on my imaging and my signs, and you'll see that.
Okay, I got
it. Yeah.
Lori, I had a quick question if you have time.
Yeah.
So one of the slides was about the blue zone. I didn't quite catch where we got the term for blue zone and where that came from.
Okay, around the equator.
Okay.
There are 5 communities in the world that they designate as part of the blue zone.
Okay,
And
got it.
Okinawa is probably the most famous.
Gotcha.
Now they say there's 7, but there are probably pockets of people all around the equator that live in this utopia, shall we say,
Gotcha.
I think.
Okay, got it. I was just wondering if there's like a green and red zone, but no, it's just the blue zone. Got it. We're good to go. Thank you.
We could have the snow zone or the rain zone up here. Is there anybody else like to share or have a question? Okay. And just remember, okay, go ahead.
Thank you so much for sharing your heart. I think the beauty of Japan, which you'll find more and more and more and more in my mind, is it's a very right brain culture. So it's very sensitive, very open-hearted, and pay attention to the details. Nobody will tell you when you're doing something wrong, but you can feel it. So it's a whole adventure into the world of feelings, which I think is very precious and lovely.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay, I just want to share about finding your Ikigai. When you do the workbook, start small. You know, you don't say, I want to be a billionaire. I mean, is it sustainable? And is it really, I mean, once you get that, become a billionaire, I mean, then what do you do? It's like the person I know that had a restaurant and he reached his goal and is like, is that all there is? And just work kind of on one area, because if you work on all the areas, if you want to just really hone down, it would be a lot easier. You can do it, you can do more later, but for this class, we have 4 weeks, and just take it small, take it one, just like when you learned how to walk, were you running at 2? Maybe some are, but at 1, you learn how to, you crawl, you roll over your stomach, then you start crawling, and then you lift yourself up. You don't learn the first time. And so your parents didn't say, oh, you just forget it, you can't walk. They don't do that. They encourage you, and that's what we're doing here. We're encouraging each other. So break free of the images think about yourself, not what the world says is great. Think about what's good for you, and to live in harmony and balance. That's what I hear. That's what I feel or sense from this about the Ikigai. Live in harmony, live in balance with yourself, because it starts with you. And just find joy in the little things instead of thinking, oh, well, when say you're going to get your PhD or you're going to be in med school. Well, do you go through that whole time thinking, oh, this is drudgery? And then once you get there, you're so disappointed because you're working so hard, not enjoying the things that really give you joy and peace and love. And always be present. Just be present. Notice how you feel around certain things. Like you could even feel like I do muscle testing on myself, and if I'm unsure of some foods, I just muscle test it, and that gives me a lot of answers. Like, no, this is not the best thing for you. You might try that at home. Like if you have a bag of sugar, you could just hold on to it, and I would imagine that most of you would not be. It would not be positive for most of you because there's not a lot of good in sugar. And just knowing yourself, to thine own self be true. And that's what this class is. It's not going to be a lot of formulas and no math, just finding out what's best for you. So that's your Ikigai. Did you want to say? Yeah.
What is muscle testing?
Oh, we'll have to talk about is muscle testing. You do it on people. Someone did it on me first. It was about the EMFs that are going on, and they have, it's called GIA, and they have something that will harmonize, like in your car, in your home. There are so many EMFs going around, and they tested me, and I was very weak when I didn't have this device. And the same with the food. I do it like this, and you can have somebody do it. And how do you feel? Like I can literally just pick it up and I can go backwards when it's not good for me.
Okay.
Or you could do, you could also do a food testing.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
We can have a private session when we talk about Japan.
That is, yeah, I'm sort of like, I'm going off in this direction.
That's okay. That's okay. Does anybody else have any questions?
Well, you answered mine for me because it was about the journal, right? You said we can use a notebook. Because when I looked at the email, it was, just blank pages, so as the print. So yeah, I can use my notebook to create a journal for this masterclass.
Lori, can I just mention a couple things? Obviously,
yes.
I'm kind of the techie guy, right? I'm happy to share about eGlass. This is the thing that I'm writing on. Super cool. Flips the image for me where I can write on the screen and kind of stay facing forward. If you're okay with it, I will share out my notes in the group.
Oh, yeah.
Just so you have that. Just as kind of a quick recap. Also, what was the other thing I was going to mention? Now my brain went. It's been a long day, so I guess that's all. So there we go. Okay. I'll share that out if you want to. There was something else I was going to say. I'll mention it in the group.
Okay, thank you. And I'm really in Japan, right? Mm-hmm. No, this is a green screen.
It's beautiful.
It is. It's an image you get on free online for green screens.
I remember what it was. Someone had said something about the workbook. I've actually made that into a fillable PDF. If you're okay with me sharing that out to the group, if you don't want to print it off, you could actually just type into the fillable aspect. I don't like to print things if I don't have to. So if anybody's interested, I'm happy to give you the fillable PDFs, exact same document, just where you don't have to print it off.
Do you want to put it in the group?
You bet. Gotcha.
Thank you, Andy.
You bet.
My son, our oldest, he's going to be 39 next birthday. He finishes up 20 years in the U.S. Air Force. And 12 of those years, he was in Japan.
Oh.
And he did not want to come back, he and his family. He's got 2 kids. His kids came back to the States and don't know what it's like to be American. So he loves Japan. He didn't want to leave. I've been to Japan too, years ago. Well, I think it was about 300 years ago. No, I was in the Navy, so I was in Japan during those years. Anyway, I'm done. Next
Okay.
week, same time or not next
Yes,
week?
same time next week. We'll put that in the meeting. What do you call it? The
Okay.
Ikigai Mastermind. Is this helpful? To
Yes.
have the messenger instead of a Facebook group? Yep.
Yeah, no, anything.
And then
gets me,
it'll be
yeah.
supported with the email that comes out.
I love the techie stuff that Andy's doing.
Isn't it cool?
I'd love to be able to do that for my podcast. My email's in the chat. Here, Andy, I'd love to know what's in your brain.
Yeah, you bet. And actually, I use it in my podcast, Jeff. So you and I should chat.
All right, I'm gonna put my email. I
Yeah,
don't know how to do that, so
for what it's worth, I'm just going to put it there. Anybody else that wants to grab that, just grab that, and you can reach out to me. But yeah, Jeff, I'll look for yours.
Okay.
Jay, I'll be reaching out to you as well.
And what you can do, Andy, is when you load up, or I don't know what to say, when you put that in the group messenger, if you can just put your email there, people could contact you that way.
Yep,
I have it
with your notes.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Really warms my heart.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. It was wonderful. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next week, same time. But the following week, I'll let you know. I think it's going to be Tuesday and a little bit later because I have a mastermind at 3, so I can't come at that time. So we will talk to you later. Oh, and you know what? If you don't mind, if I'd like to get one on my camera.